Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Cameron here, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I think I personally would really like to talk about, and it's the Joker movie that just came out. So 2019 Joker. Also ignore this obsession of soda cans I have here, college student. That's what I'm going with. But I just really want to talk about the Joker. So I just saw the Joker a few days ago, and from what I've been hearing, like before I even saw it, like the night before I saw it, people were going on about how it's just going to create violence and how, spoiler alert, before I continue, spoiler alert. I'm talking about the movie and aspects that I enjoy in it and things that I think directly connect to these things, so I will be talking about the plot and certain scenes, so spoiler alert. But, okay, and they were typically talking about how Joker was going to create this sense of violence is okay, and just like how video games lead to children's violence and how it's going to teach children it's okay to be the Joker, which I've never heard anyone say it's okay to be the Joker. Joker has always been abusive, but this movie in particular, no one in the movie at all says Joker's actions are okay except for Joker. They all state that he must be crazy, and there are even scenes specifying that he does have a mental illness. This isn't a story about violence is okay, fuck anarchy, fuck the monarchy, fuck the government, fuck the rich people. That's not what this movie is about. This movie is about a man that is failed by the government in mental health. And that is a topic that we need to be talking about now. We need to be talking about a lot of things, but mental health is definitely one of them. And the Joker is a great way. I had never heard of the Joker's storyline before. I've only ever heard Joker and Harley Quinn, ha ha ha, Joker and Batman's fight. Like, this whole movie encompasses all of it. It encompasses Joker. It encompassed him when he was Arthur Fleck. It goes about Arthur's journey, and he isn't actually called Joker until probably the last 15 minutes of it. That movie is really well cinematic, okay? So let's talk about the movie basics. It's a great storyline. It is great design work, great scenic, like cinematography skills on point. This is no DC movie I've ever seen before. It is amazing. Highly, highly, highly recommend watching it. And that's not just coming from like a superhero fan. Like, this is coming from somebody that has always, the Joker's there, to this is the Joker, and this is the Joker I wish I had always known. So in here, it talks about his journey of how he became the Joker. And it shows that he isn't just this guy who wants to fuck the world. It's this terrified man that is mentally ill, and that the system failed. And the system failed a whole lot more than just him. And there are riots that are going on about the system and about the rich people. And it's not just the rich people, but it's the system, because there's a trash strike going on. So that's the first thing you see in the play, or you hear, is that there's a trash strike going on, and you see the Joker getting ready for work. And when he gets to work, he gets beat up, and nobody believes him that it happened except for his friends. And he just gets upset about it because no one's believing him that this happened, and no one really, it's like the whole city is going crazy. Like, the rich people of high power don't care because they don't have to walk every single day down these streets to go to the common places that everyone else does. And it shows that he takes care of his mother, who was obviously ill. And so he's taking care of his mother, and he has to go to a therapist, essentially a social worker. And I love that aspect. And I love how it talks about some of his things. And it talks about how he has depression. It's never stated depression, but he does say, I hope my death makes more sense than my life. And he says other things like that. And to me, that kind of states depression, but it might not be depression. And another thing I'm not too sure about, but I swear it's Tourette's. So Tourette's is a tic that sometimes can be audible and other times not, and you just have to let the tic roll. And that's what I believe that his laugh is a Tourette's tic, and it might not be a Tourette's tic, don't hold me to that. If you do know what that laugh is, like, comment it down below, but it's definitely a mental illness. He even has a card to give out, which is a real thing. When I used to have anxiety attacks at school, I would have to give a card and be like, bye, gotta go for a minute, gotta recollect myself and come back into the teachers. And that is something that you actually do and therapists do recommend. And the fact that they even included that was great. And the fact that they also included how people's reactions to it were. Because it's right, when you have tics, people do get irritated because they don't understand. Or when you do this, people aren't going to understand. Or when you say this, it's just a thing. And I love how the movie actually discusses it and it actually shows it. And it shows how his life plays out. And it shows how he finally gets happy and then bam, something else happens. And the government shuts down all funding to this. And this mentally ill man all of a sudden has nothing. Has no one but his mother. And his whole idea of who his family life is also crumbles, and he finds out his mom's also mentally ill. And so like it's like his mother who has narcissistic disorder and delusions, and he also has delusions in the movie, and it even shows it. Like he's even like it even goes through and you can see that all these scenes that happened were delusions. And I love how they also film that. Like they film it from a perspective of you saw all of these things happen, and all of a sudden in one scene you see what really happened. You see nobody there, nobody there, nobody there, and nobody there. You see him alone talking to himself. And that is definitely like a delusional thing. And that I love how they portrayed it, how it didn't portray, oh, this guy's just fucked up. It's, oh, this mind is chemically imbalanced and this is what's going on. And when he does the first thing, it wasn't even a political statement. It was, he was mortified. He was being attacked, and that's all he knew how to do. And he even ran from it because he was scared. You could see it in his face. He was scared. He was scared. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm just like rambling. But like, you can see that he wasn't purposely trying to hurt these people. And then he even didn't even talk about it, but he kind of enjoyed it because, you know, he does have a mentally ill mind. And so, like, everybody has their own sense of humor. And I love how this whole movie is basically him finding out who he is, but it's also trying to overcome this and start up his stand-up career, which is another thing. Another thing that fucked up happened to him is that this asshole that he looks up to, so excuse my language, by the way. It's like this guy that he looks up to, his idol, this man that he wishes knew him and loved him, degraded him. And the reason he's called Joker, which I'd never heard this before, is in this movie, his idol called him a Joker because he's an asshole and he was just making fun of this poor man. And, you know, it's like the fact that he made fun of him and then wanted him on the show to make fun of him in person. And that's a great another thing, is that everyone felt it, and I love it. And I'm sorry, I'm just like, you better have watched this before you watch this so you know the whole entire plot. But the fact that all of these things are discussed is amazing. The cinematography is great, and I don't understand why nobody's talking about this movie from a mental illness point of view. Mental illness in the United States is something that everyone talks about, but no one talks about at the same time. Oh, depression, I'm sorry you're sad. Oh, anxiety, I'm sorry you get scared. No, anxiety attacks can come out of nowhere. One noise can set you off. Depression, bipolar, it's something that is chemically imbalanced in your head, but we don't talk about it. We don't talk about how therapy could be useful or could be harmful. We don't talk about how these medications are here to help us. We don't talk about how you can only get your medication through certain things, and if you lose that, you're done. And how a lot of people can't even afford the medications. It's really expensive to be on all these medications, and if you're lower class or low middle class or even middle class, I'd say, it's hard to get it, and therapy is hard to get. It's expensive, and this movie kind of goes about how the system felt him, and he was disregarded by everyone. Even his friends fucked him over. Fucked him over, and I think that this movie is something that we should actually be talking about. And even if you don't want to talk about all that mental illness, you don't want to talk about the topics that I think need to be talked about, you don't have to. You don't have to care about it. You don't have to talk about it. You don't even have to acknowledge that they happen. But I'm just saying, this movie has nothing to do with violence being outspoken. Yes, one action started a riot, but that is a riot that needed to have happened. Yes, it did not need to be violent, but there are riots that happen like that all the time. Also, I love how they played in, like, Bruce, when he was a kid, and then his parents scene, that whole thing that everybody knows happens. I love how they played that in, but, like, the fact that this whole movie goes about this is amazing, and how it's something that we need to talk about. It's not like video games and violence, which I don't even think is real, but like other people do, and if you have your points, you have your points. This movie isn't saying violence is what we need to be focusing on. This isn't teaching young people to have violence, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure it's rated R. I don't even know what it's rated, but I know kids aren't supposed to come see it. So, like, whatever. But the point is that this movie, if you don't want to talk about any of that, let's talk about the cinematography aspect of it. They played it off like a movie, like an old-timey movie, where you have the end credit, like the end, blah, 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 and the beginning thing, and it's like Joker, and I loved how they played that off. And other cinematography aspects are the very beginning scene where they're shooting the mirror, but they're also shooting him getting ready. And a lot of the scenes, like the dance sequence, that was amazing, going down the stairs, and you can just see the two officers calling after Arthur. And the bus scene was really well, the flickering lights, while the one guy was singing because he was laughing and they were making fun of him for laughing, and every single light hit at a perfect moment. And that's coming from a tech point of view. I do theater, but like that totally went amazing in that film. And a lot of the final scene, like the final scene, like the riot scene, great, amazing. I love how they even showed him going up to the camera and picking up and showing him talking to the camera and the computer, and the camera cutting off and the live stream cutting off. But like, that's not what I'm talking about now. The end scene where he is talking to the nurse or the asylum psychologist, whoever the woman is working in the asylum, how he's talking to her, and then the next scene cuts to him walking, and that's the joke. That is the joke. I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of semi-needed help with that. I was like, did he kill her? The blood says that, and my dad was like, yeah, that's the joke. And I'm like, thanks, okay. I've always needed help with things like that. Jokes, sarcasm, whoop, over my head a lot of the times. But the thing is, like, with the red footprints and the way that the light got brighter and brighter and brighter as we got closer to the window was amazing. And how you could see him run back and forth. And I totally would have loved a whiteout, but I 100% understand why they blacked out, why they did a blackout instead of a whiteout for the end of the film. Fade out, whatever. But I loved it. I loved it from a cinematography point of view. I loved it from a storyline point of view. And I just want to know why there's not more people talking about the Joker from this point of view. Why aren't we talking about it? Like, it's a great movie. I don't know. Maybe I just don't follow the right people. But the Joker's amazing. Hands down. Why aren't we talking about this more? That's all I want to know. I just wanted to talk about it. Thank you for listening to this rant. Thank you for watching and caring, or at least listening, even if you don't care. But thank you. So I'm going to sign off. Also, one more thing. Personally, I think this Joker has hit my all-time favorite level of Joker. Okay. So yeah. Peace out, rock on, heavy roll. Don't forget to grow your wings, fly high, touch the sky, make sure everyone knows your name. Love from my screen to yours. Bye, my little butterflies. Cameron, out.
The story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed.